So this is the kever of the Reb Shlomo Luria, the Maharshal. We also are very familiar with his svarim from Yeshiva, the Maharshal Shlomo, the Chachma Shlomo, where he, in very famous sugyas, the Maharshal Shlomo, a lot of times he comes and arrives at a psak halacha on the sugya. Now, the Maharshal Shlomo held very highly of using the Gemara as the source of psak, meaning learning the Gemara, that should be the main source, and the psak should come from there. When Rabbi Yosef Karo came out with the Shulchan Aruch, which was a different ordering than the Talmud Bavli, the Maharshal was against it, because he felt that he's reordering, he's changing the way that the that the Gemara has it divided up. However, ultimately, the people followed the Ramah. We'll, I guess, talk about the Ramah tomorrow. Ultimately, the Ramah was the one that Ashkenazim at least followed and gave, and that gained acceptance. He was the Rav, obviously, in Lublin. He was also a Rav in Lithuania, and he was very strict in terms of, we would say, very demanding and very strict, in halacha, and very unflinching when it came to halacha. So even though he was a big follower of Kabbalah and the Zohar, when it came to psak on certain things, and he felt that it was not the right thing to do, for example, like putting tefillin on sitting, which the Zohar brings down, he held that was not the halacha. He paskined against it, again, even though he was a big holder of Kabbalah. There's a fascinating story, which they say that supposedly happened here in Lublin. He had a Talmud who the wife died when she was very young, and he didn't have children. So he came to the Rebbe after Shiva, he came to Maharshal Shlomo, and he said to Maharshal Shlomo that I have a problem. My wife didn't leave children, but she made me promise that I wouldn't get married again. And what am I supposed to do? I don't have kids. So Maharshal Shlomo told him that you have a chiyuv of pru revu, and therefore it doesn't matter that you made a promise. The yaseh is doicha lo yaseh, you go and get married again. And he did. He went and got married again, and he died a week after the marriage. And so the whole city of Lublin was in an uproar. What's going on here? So he told the Chevra Kadisha, take his body to the cemetery, I'm assuming this cemetery, put it in the ground, but just leave it, don't bury him, and then come and tell me. So they did that, they put the body in the ground. He went to the body, which was in the ground, and he put a letter in the nifter's hand, which basically said to Shemayim that an asay is doicha lo yisaseh, and you have no right to punish this person for following the din Torah, and in the name of the Torah, I demand that you return him to me. And he left the cemetery, and after an hour later, the man was walking around town. However, there was a problem. The man was walking around town, that's great, but no one wanted to marry him. A guy who was in the kever and now got remarried, no one wanted to marry him again. So the Maharshal Shlomo davened that the people should forget the story, and that's what happened. The people stopped talking about it, people forgot it, and the person got married, and the person ended up having children. The story was told over by Reb Meir Shapiro. So obviously, a tremendous Adam Gadol, and we could see from his works in the Maharshal Shlomo, not talking about simple people here.